Hey guys, it's your girl Terez Nicole. I'm a realtor with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, PenFed Realty, as well as the director of cheerleading for Ballinger Creek Rec Council at Crestwood Middle School and the varsity cheer coach over at Frederick High. This week, I'm doing Zoom interviews COVID style because of the CDC guidelines, and I want to make sure we're all staying safe as well as getting information out to our community. So I built a platform where our community partners and business owners have provided support and resources to help our community during this global pandemic. However, before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube page. That way you get first alerts of when something new is posted. We're here live with Local Life. I'm interviewing Larry Tucker of Homeside Financial. He is the 9th episode. So how are you today, Larry? In one word, if you can just describe how you're feeling right now in one word.
One word is awesome. It's a beautiful day.
Yeah, it is a beautiful day. This is true. So tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Well, I'm a loan officer with Homeside Financial. I've been with Homeside about 2.5 years, but been in the business since 2002. So I've seen all the ups and downs of the market. I chose Homeside mainly because they have a lot of different programs and options for the clients. It means that I can present to the clients more than just one option on financing. And also we have all the down payment and closing cost programs that are available.
Now, are those things still available in the current market, in the current state of the market?
Yes, we still have plenty of money for down payment assistance, closing cost. We even have one program that's designed for millennials that'll help pay off student debt. What it does is it'll pay off up to $40,000 of student debt. That student debt will become like a second lien, but after 5 years, it's totally forgiven. So just picture if you have $40,000 in student debt, that you could have your loan forgiven after 5 years.
Wow, that's interesting. That's pretty awesome, actually.
It really is. And I mean, it's designed for the millennials, people that do have student debt, because that's one of the things that we've identified with the millennials is most of them have a lot of student debt. This is a way of helping them get into a house and pay off their student debt as well.
That is amazing. Now, I know we talked about this before, but I just want you to share why you got into the mortgage business to begin with.
Well, when I talked earlier about having different programs and options, my very first mortgage, I was like 19 when I bought my first townhouse. And I went to the local bank, and president of the bank I had known for years, bought my first car from him. And he approved my loan for my townhouse and told me that the only thing they had were what was called a balloon mortgage. And balloon mortgages, I knew nothing about. I was 19, just second year of college, didn't know much about it. So I went ahead with it, and to find out a balloon mortgage in 5 years, my whole mortgage came due. And that happened to be at a time where my 5.5% interest rate jumped to 17%. And that was one of the reasons I wanted to get into the mortgage business, to make sure that nobody got into a situation like that. And that's why I like to help educate people to understand what their options are, and even better, let them choose which one makes most sense for them and their family.
I agree. And we've been working together for a while. And that's one of the reasons I do appreciate working with you, because you do educate the client and you kind of talk to them about different loan options. Now, I was looking forward to our conversation today because I'm hearing a lot out there about the CARES Act. Can you help us understand what that means for the consumer?
Well, the CARES Act is a $2 trillion act that the president had enacted on March 27th. What it does is provide consumers credit and mortgage forbearance to keep people in their homes while the coronavirus lockdown continues.
Okay, so when you mention forbearance, I'm sure that's a little different than forgiveness.
Absolutely. let me just define forbearance. Forbearance is when a mortgage servicer allows the borrower to pause or reduce mortgage payments for a limited time. Other words, it's not forgiving the mortgage. Forbearance does not erase the amount owed. Any missed or reduced payments will be needed to be made at the end sometime in the future, and regular interest will accrue. The way the Forbearance Act is in place, it begins January 31st and it's supposed to end July 25th, or 120 days after the national emergency covering COVID-19 terminates. So what that really means is you'll still have to make your payments at one time or another. So what's important is to make sure if you can make your payments, to make them. If you can't, then there's other options with contacting your lender.
So these payments have to be repaid. If they are not repaid at some point or another, is there any consequences that can happen to the homeowner?
Absolutely. Once the CARES Act is terminated, like I say, you have it will cover you for a 120-day period, 6 months. Once that period's over, typically what will happen is your lender could either come up with an additional payment to your mortgage to pay off what's owed, or what a lot of times they'll do is tack it on at the end. But that's why it's important, if you can't make your payment, to contact your lender, because even if you can make partial payments, that'll lessen the amount that you owe at the end and maybe make it a little more manageable. So again, like I say, it's not forgiven. It's just a way of preventing the lenders from foreclosing in that time period.
Awesome. Is there anything else the consumer should be doing right now in light of the forbearance?
Well, like I said, just making sure that if they can afford their payment, that they make their payment. If they can't make their payment, right away contact your lender, because that's the first step of it, is so that the lender is aware that, if you've lost your job or for some reason you can't make your payments on time, because the late payments will be one of the things that they're not going to add to it. They're not going to report the late payments to your credit bureau in that 180-day period. But once it terminates and you don't work out an agreement, then they could implement foreclosure. They could report it to the credit bureau. So like I say, it's important that the consumer contacts their lender immediately if they can't make their payment.
Awesome. Well, I want to know of your experience and something else on your end. I know my Instagram account has been hacked during this process, or throughout the pandemic, where somebody was putting weird messages and sending those out, pretty much asking for money, as if it was myself. So have you seen an increase of any fraud or fraudulent behaviors on your end?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, any national disaster, you always have fraudsters or scammers that are trying to take advantage of the situation. And I've had several clients call me that they've been making their payments on time, but they've been getting emails and texts about programs that they didn't have to make their payment. And it's the old saying, if it's too good to be true, it probably is.
Mhm.
And what they're really looking to do is take your money, get your personal information, and then use it to your disadvantage. So just be aware that if there's something out there that says you don't have to make your mortgage payment, that's not a true thing. So just make sure that, like I say, you contact your lender directly and you don't listen to any of the texts or emails that you're getting, because they could steer you definitely in the wrong direction.
Yeah, I spoke with the title company, and I know they put special precautions in place during this time as well, to make sure that people who are currently in the buying process or selling process, their financials are protected during the home purchase or sell stage. So did you guys put any precautions in place? Or are you just letting your clients know, be careful and be aware?
Well, what I've done is I've sent an email out to all my past clients that if there's any questions in regards to the CARES Act, that give me a call directly and I can steer them in the right direction, because I don't want them following some email or something they've seen on the website that tells them, well, quit making your payment, because that can set them up for a real problem at the end.
That's very true. That's very true. So what have you been doing to stay engaged and focused during this time yourself?
Well, I've been following up with my clients, my past clients, to make sure that everything is going okay with them and if I could assist them in any way. Another thing I've been working on is getting a designation as a certified mortgage planner. That can help people with different options on planning, not just a mortgage, but how you can utilize your mortgage to be an investment tool, to utilize your mortgage maybe in a sense of if it makes sense to pay off credit card debt. It's just something that gives me a different designation that I feel can help the clients.
Awesome. So you still looking towards the future and improving yourself. I love it.
Absolutely. That's what we all have to do. Now, learning's always an ongoing process.
Yes, this is true. Have you been reading any books other than the mortgage book for the class that you're taking?
I've been pretty much tied up with that. I really haven't been reading too much as far as any new books lately. I mean, last one I read was Who Moved My Cheese, which was kind of interesting, because what it does is it makes you realize that if you don't pay attention to what's going on around you, things can change, things will change, and one day you wake up and your cheese is gone, which is a metaphor for anything. So it kind of gives you more of a perception of what's going on around you, and understand that if you don't take care of the controllables you have now, they could possibly be gone in the future.
Yeah, I actually read that book as well. And, you want to keep your emotions in between the lines. So when the cheese or your situation moves, you want to move with it. You don't want to allow it to control you or consume you. So I was just speaking with another lady, Bonnie Claggett. She owns a yoga um, business, and I was talking to her yesterday, and she was pretty much just saying people should be centered and breathe through and just try to control what they can control at this time. So in your opinion, what's one positive or something that you are in control of right now with the whole uncertainty of COVID and coronavirus and everything that's going on in our country? We are not in control of a lot. What is one thing that you're in control of right now?
Well, I always go the saying about glass half full or half empty. And it's really about perception. And we're really in uncharted territory. And it's all how you perceive it. You can either perceive it that it's a problem, or you can perceive it as an advantage. I like to look at it as an opportunity to be able to advance myself. Plus, it gives me the ability to know I can work at home and still be comfortable. So I think in the future, it'll give us a lot different perception on how we do things, and just in our life in general.
So pretty much change the way you look at things, and the way you look at things will change.
I
It,
think so.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Are you still closing loans and helping families right now?
Well, the thing is right now, there's still a great market for buyers. What I'm finding a lot too is refinances, because if somebody's in a position where they may lose their job, if they refinance now and have the money to carry them through, that makes sense. HELOCs used to be something that a lot of people would do, home equity line of credit. But all the big players, Chase and Wells, has discontinued doing HELOCs. So, it just depends on the situation and what makes sense for the client. And like I say, ultimately, the person can decide if it makes sense for them and their family.
So your company is still doing it though?
Yes, we're here and we're going to stay here. Our company actually has increased business phenomenally over the last couple months. Instead of going backwards, we're hiring more people. We've hired more processors and underwriters to keep up with things, and we anticipate once this is over, it's even going to be more of a boom.
Wow, that's amazing. With this whole, I just saw the job market and unemployment numbers today. So with that happening, you guys are still doing well and hiring. So that's awesome. Do you have any favorite quotes or anything you kind of live by?
Well, like I said, my biggest quote or my live by is the cup half full or half empty. Because, I mean, it's all how you perceive things. You can look at it and see, well, my cup's half full or my cup's half empty. So if you look at it optimistically or not. And like I say, with this epidemic, with this COVID-19 going on right now, a lot of people are in a situation where they don't know what to do. So you got to look at the positives that's involved with it.
Oh, I love it. So give us some positive wisdom and maybe just a little bit of advice of things that families can be doing right now to help them deal with the pandemic a little better.
Well, I mean, like I said, the big thing with mortgages is if you are having problems, contact your lender right away. Don't wait until it's too late. If you can make your payments on time. If you're looking for options, you can always call your mortgage broker or your lender to maybe come up with some options. If refinancing something, it would make sense that maybe gives you a buffer to help you with the current situation.
I agree. All right. So guys, don't wait until it gets too late. If you know that the weight is about to fall, reach out and contact not just your mortgage providers, whether it's your cable providers, your car carriers, just reach out and let people know what you're going through. Right now, Larry, I don't know if you're seeing this, but I'm seeing the community really pulling together and kind of helping lift each other at this time. I have some really good interviews coming up next week with a couple of our community spotlights. I'm going to call it the Spotlight Edition. So I can't wait to have those couple of people on with me. So
That sounds great. I mean, I really do see where people are coming together. People are helping each other so much more. And it's great. It's awesome to see that people can work together. They can help each other. And we'll get through this. It'll be something we'll be able to talk about in the future.
Absolutely. And I know you saw the COVID time capsule that I was giving out. That is something, and I hope if anyone needs it, they reach out and let me know, because that's something that we could backdate history with. We can kind of write everything down, every moment down, to capture this time period and have memories to look back upon when we come out of this. And we will. We are resilient. We've been through other pandemics and we got over and got through those. This will be no difference.
Absolutely. I think that's great what you've done. I mean, it's really awesome that it also gives the kids something to do than just looking at TV or video games. And you're right. It's something in the future they can look back and see that and say, look what happened, and we've made it through it.
Yep, that was the point. And guys, again, this is Local Life with Terez Dorsey and Larry Tucker. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Once you share this page, others can also share it and like it, because what we're doing is building community and community connections right now. Stay good.